But the breaking news, just in the last few minutes, Arsenal have been really successful with the red card for the youngster at the weekend. What do you think, Alan?
Well, I think that's the correct decision. Arteta after the game made it quite clear that they were going to appeal, and the tackle was innocuous to me. It was just a trip, and I think the referee got it completely wrong. So I think that was justice.
Happy,
Yep.
you two? Is that right?
I think it just proves that the systems we've already got in place work. If you feel that you've been hard done by, there is a process by which you can appeal, and it's heard very, very quickly, and the right decision has been reached.
Well,
and also,
Arsenal that during the game.
No, but Arsenal ended up winning the game.
Well, they did
as well.
Eventually. Yeah.
And Wolves had a player sent off as well, so everything has worked out. But we've still got to, I think, later in the show, talk about everything that's been happening around referees and the abuse and the situation we've got where the police are guarding the home of one of our most high-profile referees. And is that what we really want football to become in this day and age?
I just want to ask Alan, actually, just on what happened with Arsenal over the weekend. We saw Sir Alex Ferguson famously with Manchester United adopt that siege mentality when everyone's against you. Do you think, in a way, this might benefit Mikel Arteta and Arsenal when they go for the title? Is he sending the message to his players? What would you be doing if you were in that dressing room?
Well, as a manager, you're going to use every kind of tool you can. And certainly I think they've had some tough decisions go against them this year. And I think that sort of siege mentality is obviously great for the dressing room, and he will be using that. To actually get him sent off in a kind of an injustice as well and still win was a massive thing for him. And now they've got it, they've got it resurrected. Kind of, he can play the next game, the lad. So I think he's won all round there.
Yeah,
I think he'll be happy.
So Miles Lewis-Skelly has had his red card rescinded. Great news for Arsenal.
Different if Arsenal hadn't won that game.
Oh, that's...
And our friend Chris Foy is with us here, of course, as he knew would be. I think it's quite unusual when there's such a controversial decision that there aren't actually, by and large, two camps. I'm sure there are some people who say, yes, absolutely, it was a red card. But I think it would be fair to say that the vast majority of people within football, former players, pundits, journalists, are like, they really don't understand why that was a red card. Do you understand that viewpoint?
I do,
yeah.
and I think, to start off the conversation, my personal view is I don't think it was a red card, but I wasn't in the heat of battle. I wasn't in a high-octane football pitch, on a high-octane football pitch where Michael Oliver was, and he made a decision on what he saw at the time. And obviously the decision was checked by the VAR, which stood in it. Obviously, it was a red card.
Well, let's come to VAR, because that's a separate issue altogether here. So you can't be sent off just because it's cynical, and you can't be sent off just because you made no attempt to play the ball. It has to be excessive force, seriously endangering an opponent. Is it really coming into any of that category?
It's termed as serious foul play, and I think what Michael Oliver does, he actually sees the studs of Lewis-Skelly, make contact with the shin of Doherty. He's in a pretty good position, the referee. He sees that. He sees the boot go down the shin onto the boot, and he's saying to himself, I know what I've seen. He's run it through his man, and he's gone for a red card because he felt it was excessive force and it endangered the safety of the Wolves player. And then he showed the red card, obviously, and sent him off.
Chris, will he look back at that and go, I got it wrong, or do you think he'll stick to what he's done? What the decision he's made?
Well, the big thing now with referees is they've never been more accountable. And at the match, at that game, there'll be a match delegate who's a former player or administrator from football, and they will look at that and he will review his performance and look at it. I think the big thing is with it, when you mentioned the VAR will have looked, and Michael would have said he's caught him on the shin, he's gone down, he's caught him on the boot, it's followed through, it's a red card. And what he said, the pictures don't really paint much of a different picture to what he said. But I think what this does is, I think the speed is there. Yeah. I don't think the intensity is there, and I don't think it's excessive force. I mean...
He hasn't raked him, has he?
No, I mean, in my opinion, what I think this is, you can see they catch him on the shin, it continues down onto the boot, and I think what this is a real cynical foul.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and what
No
it
one's
does is,
disputing that.
because he's travelling at pace as well,
Yeah.
it stops that promising attack, because quite clearly the Wolves player would have been away, and the intention was to foul him, which he did.
What do you think, Owen?
No, I was just going to say, Michael Oliver's obviously made a mistake. Yeah, it can happen, right? Like players, people make mistakes. He saw it in real time, he thought, it was a red, whatever. That's what VAR is there for. Mm-hmm. Even if the VAR didn't think, he could have said to Michael, couldn't he? Michael, go have a look at the screen quick. Maybe go check it out for yourself. I don't want to overrule you because I don't want to undermine you, maybe. I don't know if they think like that. But just go look at the monitor. I'm sure he would have overturned it himself, wouldn't he, Michael?
Well, what you have to do is you've got to decide as a VAR that the referee has made what they call a clear and obvious error. What we're talking about here is a howler. That decision where everybody thinks, it's complete.